Hello and welcome to the first regular season episode of In the Blue Paint with Alex Cooper. Now, some of you may be wondering why, at this point in a horrible Leafs season, would I be starting a video blog about the Leafs? Well, the answer is that I'm tired of what I've been reading and hearing about the Leafs, and I want to give my opinion on what I think should be done and how the Leafs should move forward. So here we go. For a long time, I didn't think that the Leafs needed to rebuild. I thought that the retool had worked and that they were building towards a better future. But this year has finally convinced me that the Leafs need to break down this core and start fresh. The worst part is this week, the Leafs have played three pretty good games based on the talent that they have on the team, and yet they've lost all three, getting only 1 point. So I think this really shows that the Leafs just need to start over. Now, that's not saying every player on the team is crap or that every player on the team needs to be traded, but I think a reset button needs to be hit on this team. And this year is a good year to start. They're already in the bottom 10 of the league and could soon be in the bottom 5. It's also a draft that has some generational talent in it, and the Leafs could really benefit from getting into the bottom 5 and getting a really good player in the draft. Since this blog is going to be a weekly blog, the Leafs played 3 times. They played the Devils, the Coyotes, and the Flyers. Now, since Horacek's taken over, the Leafs have really struggled to score goals. However, they have been better at giving up goals. And they only gave up 5 goals in 3 games, plus the one in the shootout, which doesn't really count as a goal given up because it doesn't really count as a goal for either, does it? So, Horacek's come in and he's done what we all wanted him to do, which is make the Leafs better at not giving up 40 shots a night. However, they haven't been able to score. And I don't think this is the coach's fault. I think part of it has to do with injuries, and part of it has to do with the fact that the Leafs have been getting lucky for multiple years on the amount they were scoring. Now, some has to do with the system, because they're not flying the zone as much, so they're not getting as many odd man breaks. But really, the Leafs, as a high-scoring team, should be able to still score more than 1 goal a game. Yeah. They're just not getting lucky, which in this case is actually fortunate because the longer this losing streak goes on and the lower in the standings the Leafs get, the more clear it'll become to management that something needs to be done, that this team isn't good enough, that this team cannot compete in the NHL and cannot compete for the playoffs, let alone a Stanley Cup, and that they need to start rebuilding. So I really think that this slump is a good thing for the Leafs in the long run. Sure, it's painful to go through as a fan, and you never want to see your team lose 7 or 8 games in a row, but sometimes it's for the better of the team. And I'm not cheering for the Leafs to lose by no means. I see lots of people on Twitter saying, "Oh, I can't cheer for the Leafs to lose, and how dare you be a tanker when you want your team to lose?" I don't want them to lose. I just know they're not good enough. They're not going to win a lot of games, and they're going to bottom out. Now, will they keep losing for the rest of the season and be in the bottom 3? Probably not. They've got some pretty tough competition for that McDavid sweepstakes. Buffalo being the key leader in that category, I think. If you think being a Leaf fan's tough, Buffalo's lost 14 games in a row. They didn't win a single game in January. So we're probably not going to catch them. But even being in the bottom 3 would guarantee you a fairly good player and a very good chance at winning the draft lottery, which would give you either McDavid or McEichel. Or sorry, Eichel. McEichel, as the kids are calling it these days. And I think that's exactly what the Leafs need to do. They need to bottom out. They need to trade at the deadline what they can specifically pending UFAs such as Franzen, and they need to start stockpiling picks and prospects and just see if they can get out from the terrible cap situation they're in with horrible contracts and move from there. All right, that's it for me this week. You won't have to hear me rant anymore. I'll be back next week with more Leaf talk and maybe talk about some other hockey news because the Leafs are depressing. So catch you later.